storm's been a real inconvenience for everyone. I think it would be a good idea to talk about it. Has there been any triggers throughout the week that have been stressing your anxieties lately?
Yeah, my business can't be open, so we can't make money.
That's an issue for just you?
Well, my workers, my business, my family, because I can't make money to buy food.
Oh.
So, yeah, of course it's going to be an issue.
Any other triggers that have been happening throughout the week besides the storm and power outages?
No, just really that. I mean, I need to make money. I'm not a little kid. We got bills.
Hey, I'm just getting to group now. I'll call you back when I can, right?
I'd just like to take this time to remind everyone that we do need to start sessions on time, and it is very rude to show up late, especially on your phone.
I'm sorry, I have a lot going on, but this isn't a mandatory group, so I thought you could show up whenever you wanted.
Well, we would appreciate everyone showing up at the same time, because then it doesn't disrupt flow. And we did talk about it at the beginning of the first few sessions that you have to be on time, and if you are late after 15 minutes, you will be terminated after 2 absences.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So we were discussing triggers throughout the week, your experiences, especially with anxiety. Chris was talking about how the storm and power outages have been causing a major issue for him. Do you have any feedback for the power outages or anxiety that's been going on since the storm?
Yeah, I can't get anything done for school.
Okay.
I have no internet. Everything's just a mess.
It's a really difficult time.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's hard now for everyone, but I'm worried about what happens when the power comes back on, because everything's just gonna flood, you know, like I'm gonna have all the work that I haven't been able to do and all the like school stuff, and still trying to find like my family members. I haven't heard from all of my friends, so
Family members seems to be a really big deal. You can't talk, you
right,
lack of
there's
communication.
no power.
Is anyone else feeling that?
Yeah.
Same lack of communication? What is your feeling about, like, do you have, like, I know you work full time, has power outages been affecting you?
Right. Well, I go to families and supervise their home programs, and I can't get to them because the roads are closed or there's no power. So I mean, you can't go. Some of it's dangerous areas, and so I'm like conflicted. Do I go, put myself in danger, and see if they're okay, or do I wait? Like I don't know what to do, and it causes me a lot of anxiety.
Has anyone been using any of the coping skills we've been going over for the last few weeks to manage the anxiety, deep breathing techniques, or even being a little more flexible?
Those coping skills do not help whatsoever.
No, I don't understand what being flexible is. Like,
Being flexible more a little bit with your time. So if you're always worried about being early or being late, maybe giving yourself a few extra minutes, just like either wake up or either cut back on something. Being more flexible with other people. If they're late, don't jump on them, don't yell at them. It's really about being flexible with everything and not letting the anxiety really stress you out. Now, I know you've been having a really difficult time with the coping skills. Have you tried any of the deep breathing techniques?
Yeah, it doesn't work for me.
Okay.
I've been trying them.
What other coping skills have you used?
Just that. That's all that I really tried.
Okay. Chris, have you been using any of the coping skills?
I don't use the coping skills. When I need to cope, I just drink beer to relax, and that's how I relax.
Is those are really appropriate coping skills? Can anyone help Chris?
I mean, I'm of age to drink, so I mean, I don't see why it's inappropriate. I'm not sitting there pounding beers, but that's how my coping skills, I feel, work best. The breathing technique just gets me more worked up than anything.
Okay. We were talking about a few weeks ago, though, that a lot of times stimulants and drugs, they do keep you awake longer, and because if you get poor sleep, that's just going to exacerbate the anxiety. Making sure that you're getting, kind of a more of a normal schedule, try not to have, wake up around the same time, eating a little bit better. Have you tried using any of the exercise techniques we were going through?
I mean, I ate healthy to begin with, so I don't really see that as an issue. And then, I have so much time because my business isn't open, so what do I do? I mean, I get plenty of sleep. I'm going to sleep like a mom, so I'm going to sleep at like 8 o'clock at night.
This has been an issue because of the power outages.
Yeah, they just don't have power, so no one's coming in, and I don't have power to do business, so it's just real shit.
Are you feeling okay? You seem almost depressed because of this.
I'm just worried about money. That's really what it is. I can't make money if it's not open. I'm not like you where you have your job and you're getting paid every day. I'm only getting paid when I'm doing work.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything to offer, Chris? overstimulate you. We can look at other techniques if you think that'd be helpful.
Yeah.
What are some of the major issues you've been having?
Just with school, I'm nervous that I'm not gonna get everything done. I have no internet, no power. It's just stressful. I can't work and people will say,
So, anybody else have any other feedback about what you can do about some of these situations?
I'm really not sure what we can do. Like when I'm in that situation where I'm really anxious and like physically feeling like the effects, I don't think about deep breathing or exercising. Like
Okay. I think next week we should definitely talk about some of the cognitive behaviors, maybe relearning some of like how to like stop automatic thoughts and changing how we think, and that might help later on. I want to do an exercise with you today. Is that okay?
okay.
We've been having a difficult time really going over like expressing or understanding what the importance of a lot of the coping skills are, and I know you've been a little resilient towards it, or resistant. This is basically like to represent you, and it's to represent everything that you're going through, and each one of these bricks is going to represent the different stresses you have. So you've been saying a lot that you've had stresses with school a lot, especially because you don't have any internet, you can't get to school, and you really don't have power, so you can't work on anything. But you've also been talking about, you have relationship issues and a lot of different types of, because of the storm and the lack of communication with your family. And these are all the different
They're
types.
heavy.
Yeah, these are heavy. These are about 5 pounds each, and this is how the different types of stress, that this is what it feels like. You always feel like, when you have a lot of stress, you get a lot of the pain in the shoulders and your back, and it turns out to be more of a physical reaction. And it is heavy, and you're thinking about that. You have to carry all this every day. And a lot of the exercises we're trying to go through, the deep breathing techniques, the exercise techniques, some of the yoga techniques we've been going through, really helps like alleviate the stress. And so you're taking out some of these. You can't take out all of them, but because we're learning time management skills and we're learning different breathing techniques, as I keep reinforcing, you learn to be a little bit more calm around other people. You're learning to communicate. You're learning about the communication skills, fair fighting. And we've also been, like the yoga I think is really good for a lot of us because, it's a little bit more relaxation. And so you're working on the time management, so you shouldn't have as much problems with school. And it is a little bit of a lighter load. It's not going to get rid of the load completely, but it's helping managing it.
Well, how do we get rid of it completely?
You're never really going to get rid of it completely. Is that what everyone wants from?
I think that'd be awesome if it was completely
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome, but it's not realistic.
It isn't a realistic thing, and a lot of things we were learning about in our sessions is you're not going to get rid of it completely, but it's to manage the responsibility, the different responsibilities, to manage the symptoms. It was heavy, wasn't it?
Yes.
And all these symptoms you really need to worry about throughout, different sessions. But I want to ask, has anyone feeling like, since the first few sessions, has the loads or the stress and anxieties been lighter?
I mean, not really for me. I think I'm more aware of it. Like, I kind of know why I'm having such anxiety, but I'm not at the point where I feel like I can change that.
Okay.
Things were getting a little bit better, and then the storm and other things that we can't control got in the way.
My biggest thing, business was real good up until the storm. And it was like, I need to make a certain amount of money a week to pay for my mortgage, pay for my business loan, and the storm just really screwed me.
I think that next week we should definitely, besides with the cognitive behavior information that I can provide you, I think we should be learning how to handle high stress situations so that if another storm hits, we can cope with it better. Was this technique helpful for anybody to visualize their anxiety and how the coping
Makes
exercises?
sense.
It makes sense. What other things would you like me to work on in the next upcoming week, since we only have about 4 sessions left?
Maybe more like practical, at least for me, more practical ways to deal with the stress. Because like I said, I don't think about deep breathing or doing exercises or yoga like when I'm really stressed out. In the situations that I'm in where I'm stressed out, like it's not appropriate to walk away and deep breathe or do an exercise.
Okay, sounds like a good idea.
And how to handle like unforeseen circumstances, maybe in
I
a
think
positive way.
I think that'd be a good idea to connect with the handling high stress. think it'd be a good idea to take a break, and I'll see you all in about 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Should we redo it? Or do you think it's okay?
We can.
Now that we're all back from break, I would just like to go over, for the remainder of the session, we are going to talk about things that we did last session in the beginning, and this was the anxiety scale that you filled out the first day that you were here. So I want to see if anybody's anxieties have changed from the first session.
Can I use this pen?
Yes.
And if so, can you guys explain one that you have changed from when we first started weeks ago? Allie, do you want to begin?
I really don't think there's anything here that changed much in the first few groups. Maybe participating in small groups more.
And how has that changed for you? Do you feel more comfortable?
I think because I have to be here, I'm just used to it now. But anything else, I mean, I still don't want to really talk to people. I still get anxious when people talk to me, or they come up to me and they start asking for like directions.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm still having a hard time using the coping skills.
Okay, and what coping skills have you been using?
I've been trying to use a lot of deep breathing, but a lot of times, you know, you just start doing it, you're like, and they keep asking you questions, and you're just, this isn't working, and then you just walk away.
All right, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. All right. April, what about you?
I mean, I think they've all changed a little bit, especially the like meeting strangers or the talking to people that I don't know. I feel a little bit more comfortable doing it. I still feel a lot of anxiety, but it's not like I won't go approach people now.
That's great. Okay. And Chris?
I guess the one anxiety that really stood out was working while being observed. Since being a shop owner, it's like I don't mind because people are going to come in the shop when we're working on motorcycles or whatever, but I don't like someone over my shoulder or like telling me what to do exactly. Like, you brought it here for me to work on. Obviously, I know what I'm doing and you don't, so don't be like telling me what to do.
Mm-hmm. So you're more comfortable?
It was originally started out, I guess, 3 is severe. It started out as most severe, but it's kind of, I guess it went down only like one notch, like moderate. It's still like, I guess like a pet peeve, I guess you would say. Like I said, people telling me what to do, like you brought it to me.
All right, great. Okay, so this is, next session is going to be our last session.
Thank goodness.
Okay, well, let's process how you seem to be happy about that.
I just don't want to be here anymore. I've told you that since, you know, day one. I didn't want to be in this group. It wasn't mandated, and everyone keeps saying it's going to help me, but did it really?
Thank you for coming, at least for all the sessions. We're going to talk about, before we leave, what you would like to do in the last session. So maybe you can come up with some ideas, think about that right now. And then we can discuss that. How are you feeling about this being one of our, like next week being our last session?
I'm a little nervous because I'm afraid that all the anxiety is going to come back after we end. Because I feel like I've learned how to kind of cope a little bit, but without the like support, I'm worried that it'll all come back.
Okay. And Chris?
I don't know. I just really need more business. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Like I said, this storm has really just hurt me the most. If you can get more business from me in the next session, that'd be the best thing.
I wish I could. How could we do that, guys?
What have you been doing to really get more business?
Well, I mean, we're out on the internet, we're on Craigslist. I mean, we put ourselves out there, but like I said, the storm is the biggest thing. It kind of just, no one was worried about bringing in their motorcycle when their houses were destroyed. So, other than that, I didn't have a problem with business, but like I said, once the storm hit, it was just on the back burner for people. But it's usually a busy time.
Maybe you could have like a fundraiser or some type of event at your store to get like people in.
Like a sale?
No, like something that you would donate the proceeds to the hurricane victims, or some type of food drive or something. And people see you're more a part of the community.
It's not a bad idea.
That's a good idea, April. Okay, so you were talking about support systems. Who do you have as a support system in your life?
I mean, I don't feel like I have a very big support system because I try and hide my anxiety from other people. I mean, my close friends know, so I guess that they'd be supportive.
So once this group ends, you think that you could talk to your friends about it?
Yeah, I probably could. I haven't thought of that before.
Okay, great. Anybody else have any support system? No. What about the group as itself?
I really don't reach out to you guys. I mean, I know you've tried contacting me a few times, but I kind of just ignore a lot of the phone calls or text messages.
And is there a reason for that? Is it your anxiety or?
I just don't like talking to people on the phone.
Okay.
Still don't.
Maybe if you guys can meet up, would that help you, perhaps?
Yeah, just cause a little bit more issues. Like, I have to be here, so I think about that. If I have to think about calling somebody and scheduling a meeting, it's just like more things I have to worry about. And what happens if I'm late? Are they gonna be upset if I'm late?
Mm-hmm. So who can you reach out to? Do you have family members?
I don't really talk to my family that much.
Do you have a close best friends?
They have a lot of their own issues, so I try not to really be a burden to them.
Mhm.
I don't really want to be a burden to a lot of people.
Okay, but you're gonna have to come up with a support system. So maybe if you could get one close friend. Does anybody know about your anxiety? Okay.
Anyone outside of the group, really.
So for next week, do you think you would be able to tell one of your friends? Because I want to make sure you have a support system for when you leave.
I
Do you
can
think?
ask a few people, yeah. But, so that's why it's been this hard. I mean, I don't have anyone to talk to afterwards.
Yeah. Well, I'll just want to keep in mind that you have everybody here too. And Chris, do you have good support systems?
I mean, I have my wife, my employees. They're good. They've been trying to spread the word and everything, but other than that, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I tried calling and texting her, but like she said, she doesn't pick up. So it's just like,
April, if Chris was to call you, would you be able to help with anything?
Yeah, I would try.
Okay. So if you'd like to exchange numbers, that'd be good. At the end. Okay, so what have you liked about the group? This is for the following. So when I run another group, I'll know what was good about it and what wasn't. So Allie, you could start because you seem to be.
yeah, you seem to always like pick on me first.
I'm sorry, but you said that you felt that this group has not been beneficial to you.
Like, it's helped a little bit. It's just the anxiety is still there, and it's still pretty high,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I wanted it to go away. So I thought coming to group would do, just
Right.
make the anxiety go away.
Okay, and as we talked about last week with the session with the weights, that you can't get rid of everything at once. All anxieties at once. You have to target one at a time. What would you like to work on next session since you haven't gotten anything out of it? The final session, do you have any ideas?
Maybe a little bit more of the communication skills. I still think I don't really assert myself, and I think if I did that a little bit more, I don't really pass it, or I'll like be sarcastic to people. If I maybe work on my communication, it might help.
Okay. Good. Thank you. And April, what have you liked?
I really like the visuals of like seeing how my stress is affecting me, how my anxiety is affecting me. I don't think I'd put that together as to how it's influencing my life.
Okay. And is there anything that you would like to work on next session, which is the final session?
Maybe like how we can continue this outside of group meetings. I think that's what I'm nervous about.
Mm-hmm. And Chris?
I mean, I knew I had some like the anxieties to begin with, but it's like actually hearing like pinpointing them more, even though I knew them, and then like hearing your take on it, or hearing their takes, and just basically hearing that other people go through the same thing. It kind of relieved it a little, even though I'm still dealing with the problems I have. But it's just better to voice it, I guess, instead of just keeping it in like I usually do.
Very good. All right, so for the next session, Allie, I would like you to find somebody you could talk to about your anxiety, and we will go over the stuff that we went over now. I'll incorporate the things in the next session that you guys want to work on in the future. Okay? All right, everybody have a nice day.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good, and yourself?
I'm good.
Okay, so I want to thank everyone for coming in first. I know you guys just got out of work and it's 3:45. So basically what we're here for is, this is the first stress management course for teachers. I know you guys, like I said, you guys just came from work. And first and foremost, I want to let everyone know that everything that is being discussed here is confidential. It's not going to go back to your supervisors or the principal and anything. It's to basically just help us figure out how to run the program better and basically help you guys more. Let's see. Okay, I want to introduce myself. My name is Chris Golub. I'm a stress management specialist. I got my undergrad and my bachelor, or my undergrad and my master's in social work. So I'm trained in this area, and I've been doing this form of stress management for 3 years now. So I have a little experience in it that can maybe help you guys out. So basically, this group was designed. This group is a new program, and it's designed to help teachers who are experiencing stress, whether they're new teachers or veteran teachers, and stress in the classroom with teaching students and everything. The program starts at 3:45. It's an open program, so new people may come in. Don't feel like you have to attend every meeting and everything. Every meeting is 60 minutes, and the meeting runs for 6 weeks. Let's see. So right now I'm going to pass around a group sign. Nothing goes back to your supervisors or anything. It's just for us to keep track of everything. So if you could sign in.
There you go, sir.
So just a little more comfortable with you guys. Okay, so at this point, I would like everyone to introduce themselves and what grade they teach and how long you've been teaching for. So, if anyone would like to start, the floor is yours.
Why don't you go?
Me?
Yeah, you look pretty young.
I am pretty young. I just started the beginning of the school year, and I teach 6th graders.
Okay. And you said, all right. Yeah.
I'm Megan. I teach 2nd grade, and I've been teaching for 5 years.
Teach high school science, astronomy. I've been teaching for 45 years.
That's very good. Okay. We'll just stick with the outline. Alright, so basically, you guys are here because you told the principal that you guys are feeling a little stressed and everything with the way either classrooms are or just the way the curriculum is or just what they're expecting out of teachers now. So I just want to give you guys just a broad definition of stress from what we researched. And basically, it's stress is common in most people, especially associated with work. Stress can cause poor work performance and can affect a person's physical and mental well-being. Let's see. Some attributing factors of stress would be insufficient materials, maybe having special education students in your classrooms when the classrooms aren't really suited for those type of children. The impact of stress on your job could be like the performance, like I said, or your satisfaction in helping children learn and everything. So at this point, I would like each of you individually to describe some of the stress that you may be currently experiencing in your classrooms and what you would like to try to accomplish in this program. So you can start since you've been teaching the longest.
Well, we just keep getting more and more students in our classroom. 3 years ago, it was only about 20 students. Now I have 35. It's really hard to run labs when you have 35 kids, and it's not really made. Labs just aren't made to have that many students in. We have a lot more special needs students. And I'm not really used to working with special needs. Usually they went off to their own individual classroom. Now we're doing this inclusion stuff. I never really was taught how to do any of this stuff, and sometimes the inclusion teacher isn't there, so how am I supposed to work with an inclusion student if the teacher's not there to help out? These are a lot of really
That's a
stressful.
problem that we have too at my school.
And how do you feel like that's affecting your ability to educate the children?
Well, I'm used to teaching a little bit higher level students, and now I have to almost make it so that a broad range of students can really understand the curriculum. And so what I want to get done in October I'm still not getting done in September, in the very beginning of October, and behind everything. I have to get through a specific curriculum, but we have to keep going back, and then they're not doing well on the tests, and so they can't read well, and oh, they can't do this well. You know, I've been doing the same tests. These are the same tests and the same papers that they've been doing for about 10 years. Now I have to change everything. It's a lot more stressful than I thought it would be, especially when the teacher's not there for the inclusion classroom.
So do you feel the change to maybe like adapt it to the larger classrooms is kind of, like you said, adding more stress on you, but are you opposed to it, or?
I just don't think, because having it like in the classroom that I'm actually in, is that some of the students maybe not, they shouldn't be in there. I mean, they don't fit well for that program, if any of you know what I'm talking about. It's supposed to be a higher level class.
Okay. All right. I guess we'll touch on that in a little bit. Would you like to go next?
Like what Allie was saying, there's so many kids. Another problem that causes stress for me is the parents. They always, you know how they are. Not my child, not my child. My child could do much better. That's not the grade they deserve. Just
I think the most stress I feel is around teaching for the test. Like, I don't feel like I'm able to teach what I feel that these kids need to learn at the moment. And it's all geared towards getting good grades, having their ratings and their rankings high for the school. And on top of that, I feel like I'm always being watched because I'm the new teacher. So if I don't get my kids to have an overall percentage, then I'm not doing my job well.
Okay. And like you said, that adds stress. Do you feel if you didn't have that, I guess the watchful eyes, that it may be a little easier for you to perform?
I mean, maybe. There's still the stress of having to teach for the test and not actually teaching material in the book per se, but I think that would definitely help.
Can I ask you something? Is it really just, it's like the teaching for the test thing, I really agree with it. It's just,
It's
you don't
ridiculous.
Well, we will get into basically some coping strategies and ways to reduce and eliminate, hopefully eliminate some of the stresses in the future courses. At this point, I would like to pass around some packets, because how we are going to conduct this program is, in the beginning of the program, we're going to give you these packets where you're going to fill out, and it's going to evaluate your level of stress in each area, what you think can be done to reduce it. And then at the end of the 6-week program, we're going to have you fill out a similar packet to see if your stress or anxiety levels have dropped. And then we will compare them, and then we will go over them with you each individually. And that way you can kind of see if the program helped or not. And we will also provide you with more resources as far as other stress meetings besides us, and some hotline numbers that you can call if you feel you need a little more help, like at home or whatever. So at this time, I would like to pass these packets out with you. And if you could take, I guess they should take a little bit to fill out. Over there we have some food and drinks that we provide for you. They're more along the healthy lines. We have Nutri-Grain bars, coffee and water, some fruits. And I guess after that, we will get started with some ways to reduce stress.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ooh, snacks.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming. I know that you guys have very busy schedules, so I appreciate you making it here today. So I just want to do a quick check-in and see how everyone's doing. Does anyone want to go? Go ahead.
I feel like that the techniques that we've been, going over are just making it worse. I feel like I don't have time to practice them because I don't practice them. I really don't want to use them when we're in class and I start getting stressed out, and then it makes me more stressed out. I think I'm actually getting worse.
So you feel that your stress is increasing because of the techniques? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I
Okay.
have to practice them a lot.
Okay, thank you for sharing. I just want to point out that the techniques and skills that we've learned in group so far are meant to be used while you're feeling stressed. So while you're making a lesson plan that's difficult or in a disruptive classroom,
in using these techniques in those situations, you're practicing them and they're more effective. So you don't have to take time out of your day, say 3 times a day for 5 minutes. That's not what they're for yet. Does that make sense? Is that
Are they gonna be effective if I really I don't know if I know really how to do them that well, that's why.
how to do the techniques themselves?
Yeah, you get kind of, like, I'm gonna get worried that I'm gonna do them wrong and then they're gonna be
Okay.
more ineffective.
Okay, well that's a valid concern, and maybe through group we can practice in this setting, taking a couple times and practicing the techniques so that you feel more comfortable when you use them in the situation. Okay?
I used them once, and now every time I just keep forgetting about it.
Okay.
So it's just the point of remembering to do them.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay, so maybe after our break we can talk about maybe coming up with some visual cues or some way to kind of trigger the technique for you to remember to do it.
That'd be helpful.
Great.
What I did is I wrote the techniques that you listed for us. I wrote them on a piece of paper, and basically, like, I pretty much go over them every day. And like whenever I'm feeling stressed out, I'll look at them and I'll try to implicate them and just practice them. And I just feel they've been like super helpful, and like I'm glad I have them. I wish I would have found them earlier.
Great. I'm glad that's helping you and that's working for you. So we've talked about ways to cope with our stress, but I want to go a little bit deeper this session and maybe find some ways that you're reacting to your stress and how that's physically or emotionally affecting you. So I have some worksheets that you feel free to write down, or you can completely ignore them. So I know you guys do this all day. So I'm going to talk about what are some maybe physical symptoms or problematic symptoms that you feel when you are stressed. Yeah, of course.
Sweaty palms.
Okay.
I feel like,
Like
Like-
lightheaded.
I feel like my face gets really red.
Yeah.
More red than normal.
Okay, that's a good one.
Shaky.
Yeah,
Feel
vomit.
shaky. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's the worst when it gets really bad. I like want to excuse myself to leave because I get so nervous that my stomach starts hurting and I just want to vomit.
Okay.
Like I said, I get like lightheaded. Like, not that I feel like I'm gonna faint, but I just like I really can't concentrate. Like, even if I have my lesson plan in front of me, and if I get like that scared or that nervous, like I said, I just get lightheaded and I just like get so flustered.
Okay. Same thing?
Yeah.
So these, what you're telling me sounds like they're really kind of extreme instances, like where you said you felt like you have to leave the room or you're going to pass out. Do you notice anything that kind of leads up to those feelings? Like, is it gradual or does it hit all of a sudden?
For myself personally, it just hits all of a sudden. Like maybe a student just won't be like listening or doing it right, or like I'll reprimand them and then they get even rowdier. It's just like, I don't know. Like I usually know how to control the classroom, but sometimes it just gets so out of hand.
Right.
And it all comes at once too.
Okay.
See, I'm not like that. Mine like starts out small, like maybe something happens in the beginning of class where something gets disrupted, and then small things throughout the class progresses. Like so many of them want to leave the classroom, and that's really hard for me when they constantly want to leave. And it's like, no, just stay in, and then you have to hand tasks back, or if I have testing have back, they want them back at the very beginning of class. Like, no, we need to keep them until the end. And all these small things that's when it escalates. And I'm just
Okay.
like, I want to
Okay.
leave.
Okay, I understand that. So we've kind of talked about in the situation how the stress physically affects you. What about long term? Is it over once that situation's done? Is the stress gone? Or does it continue to carry out throughout your day or week?
It continues.
It does? How does that manifest itself?
On certain situations, I mean, I'll remember things from like 5 years ago that I did it like this, the exact same situation I was in 5 years ago. And then that all day I'm just thinking about, well, I should have learned from this situation. Why didn't I think about doing that then? Why didn't I think about doing it now? And then I'm worried for the rest of the week, and then until something else happens that I almost forget about it.
Right. So that kind of touches on some emotional and kind of cognitive effects of your stress that you're feeling.
Yeah.
For myself, like basically I use like after it usually it ends when the students leave, and like either I get like a couple minutes to sit to myself and kind of reflect on it, or if like I go outside to smoke a cigarette. Like I just need like once it starts building up, like I just need like a couple minutes myself to calm down. Otherwise, like it's just like there's nowhere for me to just like get in my own head and like kind of process what happens. So like basically being surrounded is like the worst that can happen.
Okay.
So when you use the techniques we've been going over?
Yeah, I mean, I try, like, I have like a small, like I said, I have a big paper that I run well down. I have a small little cheat sheet that I bring with me when I'm in school because I don't want other people to see or know that I'm like feeling that or see that I'm trying to use these strategies. I try to keep that like secret, I guess you would say.
That's a great little piece of self-awareness that you realize for you to de-escalate your stress, you need to be separate from other people. So it's great that you're aware of that. You know that that's what you need to do to make yourself feel a little bit
Yeah,
better.
I agree.
And for me, it just lasts the whole day. Like even when I leave, like if the kids get crazy in there,
Right.
it just lasts the whole entire day for me. I just keep thinking of what happened and what happened.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I can see how that would add to your stress and carry over to your other activities as well. So speaking of other activities, and even the kids in the classes that you're with, do you notice that their anxiety and stress and disruptive levels go up the more you feel stressed? Have you seen a correlation with that at all? Or is it something you've not looked at before?
Never really looked into that. Like I said, they're just so hyper and everything. It's just, I think whether I was in control or like secretly losing it, they'd still be acting the same way. I don't think they really, I kind of do good at hiding it so they don't really pick up on it.
Okay. I think.
It's pretty easy for them to know when I get flustered, and some of them will try to like get everyone out. The students will try to calm each other down, but then you have like a few. I have 5 students. Like I don't know if I have to say names, so I'll just call him T. He'll just try to pick apart, and he likes to watch not just me but everyone else get flustered too. He likes
Okay.
that chaos. 'Cause
So-
then he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to really be in the classroom. So when he doesn't have to learn, it's almost like we're waiting for him. That's
So
what I
you-
think.
And it just won't stop. Like there's always that one kid that just won't.
And you can't send them out of the classroom, like go to the principal's office. They're not gonna listen to that. They'll just wander the hallways, and they don't have any way of like, hey, can you come down and pick up this kid? No, he's being disruptive again. And there's no disciplinary things that go on anymore.
Okay. I hear your frustration. So here's a thought. What if you did some of your stress relieving techniques as a class with your students? Do you think that that would be effective in maybe bringing down their anxiety and their disruptiveness? Like, for example, maybe a breathing technique or something like that. To one, bring in yourself and calm you down, but also kind of project that throughout the class.
That could work in our chaos.
Yeah, that might help because I mean, some of them I think just need to get up and just move around, especially after doing sitting. Like I understand that it's long to go through a really long day, and I have one of the last classes, so sitting down for 40 minutes is really hard for a lot of them. So maybe getting up and just doing some of the breathing techniques might help.
Okay, great. Okay, so I want to take a quick little break, and while we're on break, maybe think about some different visual cues or some type of cue to kind of remember to use these techniques throughout your day. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay.
This is the final analysis.
We feel that we worked well together and we were over prepared as a group.
I feel like we worked good together as a team, and all kind of shared resources.
Yeah, it was a good collaborative effort, and we engaged each other. We engaged, like, not just as a group as in the task force, like, but also as clients. We engaged each other very well.
I feel like when we each presented, we made sure we addressed the issues at hand, such as like race and ethnicity. We didn't like not cover those.
But we did cover class, gender, and socioeconomics.
Yeah.
We did check-ins and assessments.
I feel like the 10 minutes went by faster than I thought that it would go, which I guess is a good thing, because that means we were engaged.
And we were all over prepared. Like when we first started, we had a bunch of stuff that we wanted to work on in the group setting.
And so the 10 minutes goes fast.
Yeah.
We used a lot of visuals, and we did a lot of worksheets and discussions.
Yeah, I run groups in my internship, and it's actually easier to prepare for a 3-hour group than it is a 10-minute group, because the 10 minutes you just, like we said, you over prepare and everything. And in my group especially, like we were in an educational setting, and I felt like I didn't engage the clients because I was kind of informing, and it felt like more of a lecture format in the educational setting.
And then for mine, Allie threw me off when she said, "You're picking on me." I didn't know what to say at that moment.
Yeah, like, but we also address boundaries
Mhm.
and rules and engage the groups that way. And we discussed behaviors, things that
Yeah.
could be tailored.
I think we all did a really good job at kind of completely tailoring the topics and stuff to our group members, like the education aspect and the different visuals that we used. I think personally, mine would have gone maybe smoother if I had an icebreaker at the beginning that kind of got everyone up and moving around, since as teachers you were sitting down and
Yeah, I didn't even
kind of
think
like
about
working
that
all
one.
day.
Yeah, for me, everyone seemed like the visual aid that I provided, but I've noticed a lot of times, like, when I start talking, I tend to have a really soft-spoken voice, which is hard to hear, apparently, when I'm a therapist, and my social work voice, as everyone keeps calling it. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
We're good.